All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are live right now from Houston, Texas, and we're excited to bring the 40-acre conference back here. How you doing? I got a special guest. How you doing, man?
Man, doing pretty good. Doing pretty good. I can't complain.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are live. I'm right now from Houston, Texas, and we're excited to bring the 40-acre conference back here. How you doing? I got a special guest. How you doing, man?
Man, doing pretty good.
All right. So here's what we want to do. We want to give people an upcoming preview of everything that's going to happen. I was blessed to be in front at the State of the City today, and we had the opportunity to sit at the table with a lot of our partners and a lot of our eloquent speakers that are going to be here. So just want to give people a preview of what's going on. And Mr. Carroll just joined as one of our coordinators for our speaker committee. We have over 10 different committees and over 100 spots available. So if y'all want to be a part of this historic event, this is now our third conference. Just come on down, join the Zoom. We'll let you in, come where you are, serve where you are called to be, and we'll put you in front of some incredible people. I can tell you volunteering has really changed the outlook and trajectory of my path, right? I have had the opportunity to, by volunteering for other people, I've had the opportunity to open up for Eric Thomas, right? The #1 motivational speaker in the world. Shout out to Miss Tiffany McIntosh and putting on the I Am the Biggest Boss conference, and volunteered, right? Like I was my own conference for her. Been able to volunteer and lead the usher team for a while. Shout out to the Hope City family, and was able to break bread and have a word with Mike Todd last week. So
It's a blessing.
everything, people think that volunteers is like, why would I do that? Once you're called to do something, man, it can take you some incredible places that even buying a ticket, can't get you. So I encourage you, if you see anything on this list that would align you with something that you really want to do, jump in, man. We'd love to have you. So I'm gonna let Mr. Carroll ask some questions, man, because he's coming in brand new. I made a post and he pulled up, so we're here. So what do you want to know about the 40-acre conference? And we'll just wrap, man.
Most definitely, man. Again, my name is Richard Carroll. I'm the founder and CEO of What They Made Investments. We got some big things coming, man. So y'all make sure y'all pay attention and listen to these questions, right? Because this guy here, he's doing something very, very big. A lot of times we don't understand the power of collaboration, right? So we're going to be going over what that looks like and what the 40 Acres Conference is going to be about. So, Mr. Allen, my first question for you, right? Yeah. So what was the one thing that caught your eye and really made you put this together? What was the one thing that made you put this together?
Economic justice.
Okay.
So when I say economic justice, if you were to say one thing, not one word, right? Economic justice is something that we really wanted to attach to. And there has been a lot of people that have committed money to the Black and minority community, and there has been very little fulfillment of those commitments. Take it back 200 years, right? And that's why I'm going to give you some insight on why it's called the 40-acre conference. The reason for the 40-acre conference is when the slaves, were freed. I won't go too deep, but there was a promise to the former freedmen.
Yeah.
And it was actually the Union Army and a bunch of Black pastors at that time that were freed that said, hey, let's come up with this great plan.
Yeah.
Phenomenal plan. But when it came to implementation, they didn't know how to track it, they didn't know how to manage it, and they didn't know who to give it to, right? The South, right? So, and a lot of that plan came out of Fort McPherson. Fun fact, is actually owned by Tyler Perry now, where they used to enslave Black folks.
He's a billionaire.
Yeah, he's a billionaire. I saw him speak in Atlanta, but he now owns that whole fort. Going too deep, but bottom line, the history is it never happened.
Okay.
because they didn't have a way to fulfill that commitment. And now, and I actually went to George Floyd's funeral. He lives here in Houston, went to Yates High School. But when that happened, it kind of shined a light on the Black community.
No, definitely.
Right? And a lot of corporations said, whoa, we have a renewed focus. We'll give $1 million, we'll give 10 million, we'll give a billion, we'll give $20 billion.
After death.
Yeah, after a day, they just rose their hand. And then we look at a year, 2 years later, and they're like, oh, well, yeah, we're gonna do it. It's a 3-year commitment. It's a 10-year commitment. Yeah. So we're hearing some of the same things that we were hearing when 40 acres and a meal happened. But what are we gonna do about it, right? Let's not cry about it. Let's figure out a way to make it happen. So the 40-acre conference, we do 40 events in 4 days. And there are a bunch of different ways to showcase talent, right? Young talent, people that have been seasoned, and ways for corporations to align and give money to things that really resonate with their brand, right? And the reason we call it the 40-acre conference is we're giving a way to partner with these corporations and government officials so it doesn't disappear like 40 acres anymore.
Okay, I love it. I love it. So yeah, as y'all can see, this man's doing great things. So he broke down, the detail of what the 40-acre conference entail, right? Okay, so you said something very important. So I see that you have a lot of relations in regard to the conference in itself and then the community. So for the people who's watching who probably want to contribute to the 40-acre conference, let's talk to the people and tell them, how does the community, right? How does the community play a role with this conference coming up?
Yeah, so there's many different ways in playing a role, and whatever resonates with whatever your path is, whatever your journey you're on, and whatever commitment you may want to fulfill, there's something for everybody. And I'll tell you, this is now our 3rd conference. A lot of people don't even know that. We did Juneteenth, we did MLK, right?
Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you, man. Thank you. And a lot of, in the beginning, some people didn't support us. And half of that is on us because we didn't do things like this and tell them how they could. And there was other instances where they're like, the vision is too big, the journey is too long, the mission is impossible, right? And then we did our first one, show them it was possible.
Okay.
We did our take it back.
I'm sorry to cut you off, but talk to them about when that took place during the pandemic, but y'all didn't make no excuses. Y'all still fulfilled the goal.
During the pandemic, man, everybody things were getting canceled. And I had just had a huge transition in my own company where people owed us over $1 million, right? And long story short, we ended up getting sued in 30. I was going through lawsuits at the time. And people said, well, that's the enemy telling you. I told you you're gonna fail. Yeah. And we still made it happen, right? And people say, hey, you're not gonna have celebrities there. People aren't gonna show up. And things started getting canceled. So we did a hybrid, right? We did in person in our fashion show and our hip hop thing. And then we still had the speakers who didn't want to travel, calling on. We had celebrities there. We had a billionaire on, man, right? People don't even know. We had Hill Harper on. After that, I got flown to Africa by the president of the Congo, right? And that's just because we stayed true and we still made it happen despite all the circumstances. So you just got to keep going. And people, a lot of times they want to start, and I'll get to how people can get involved. They're okay with the winners. They're okay with somebody winning a championship. Then they jump off, right? You call it, see the bandwagon fast. Yeah. But when you're in the gym, right? When you're just getting started, when you lacing up the shoes, when you're sweating in the middle of the night, nobody's there, man. Nobody's there. And it's a lonely road in the beginning, but the good thing is now we're starting, that's fine. And that's okay. And there's times, shout out to my mama, there's times that I wanted to be like, man, maybe I should pack this up. Yeah. It's a lot. Right. Maybe that journey is too long. But Nah, man, this is something that was a vision that I had back in 2020, and people thought I was crazy. And I'm gonna take this back. I know how people can get involved, but this last weekend, I was with Pastor Mike Todd. Man, he's incredible. And he said that he had visions and God gave him the plan 8 years earlier, before he started doing the things that he started doing right now. And I felt a sense of, man, this is your validation. I had that vision about a validation in that meeting 3 years ago. So not to get too deep on you, but for those of you that want to get involved, we have multiple ways to get involved. If you want to be a sponsor, we have 50 different sponsorship opportunities. Yes, I know we have 40 different showcases, but there's also the core for those showcases. There's also food for the kids, right? If you want to sponsor just the kid, we can do that. It's $250 all the way up to, 100,000 plus if you want to sponsor, the venue and everything, and that'll help us sponsor, all of these kids to come. If you want to be a volunteer, we have over 10 different committees, over 100 opportunities to volunteer. So if you want to do that, you'll get volunteer credit, you'll get VTO credit, you'll get community service credit. If that's something that you're looking for, you'll get an opportunity to serve in the community and be part of the largest MLK financial equity event in the world. If you want to be a vendor, right? If you want to have the opportunity to be in front of 5,000 plus people, 30,000 people all over the world in 200 countries, you can be a vendor and be showcased and sell a lot of your great things on MLK weekend, because we not only want people to see you here, they see you 3 different places. They see you physical, they see you virtual, and we're also doing it in the metaverse, right? Which is game changing. Different, right? Most people don't even, that's next level. And I know you're going to talk about that. We'll talk about that. If they want to be a volunteer, a speaker, our speaker spots are limited because we have a very stringent schedule and we have some elite speakers that are going to be there. But still, we do not want to pass over somebody that is elite that people may not know about, right? Because a couple of years ago, people didn't even know who I was. People didn't know who Earn Your Leisure was. I'll tell you a funny story. So that's a couple ways you can get involved. During the pandemic, and this was a year and a half ago, I went to Tulsa, Oklahoma. And in Tulsa, Oklahoma, it was the centennial of Black Wall Street, right? The race massacre that happened. They had a big conference there. And I went, right, to serve, and hey, however I can help, I just need to be there. I didn't know why I needed to be there, right? But I needed to be there. So during that time, there was a small room, and it was I wasn't even gonna go. It was raining, and I had a great time. We went to the cultural center, saw the sights, was doing the conference. It was raining, and I ended up going to this small barbershop. There couldn't have been more than 50 people in there. It was probably the size of this room. But you went to that one barbershop. Small barbershop, right? And what I looked like, see that? Like, didn't even have anything to do up there, right? Yeah. But Earn Your Leisure was there, and they were doing a Market Monday there. With Ian Dunlap. With Ian, Rashad, Troy, all his crew. Shout out Big Mike. They're all there, and Hill was there. Now, this is before they've done any InvestFest, right? And they were talking about doing InvestFest. I'm going to do InvestFest, and they said it's gonna be the largest in the world. They were manifesting before it happened. Now, granted, they had a huge following already. Crazy. They had a crazy following already, right? Steve Harvey, one of their biggest ones too. See, I just came back from Steve Harvey and Tyler Perry and a bunch of other people backstage. Okay. From that little room, and I say backstage, because I was in that little room, right? I started rocking with it, right? And they started knowing who I was,
Mhm.
even though I didn't have a huge following, right? Put it this way, my Instagram at that point was probably 400 followers, right? Not to say that's huge now, it's
Yeah.
probably like 26,000,
Mhm.
but that was a year ago. And from there, I said, I'm gonna do this conference and nobody knew who I was.
Yeah.
They did Earn Your Leisure. They said in 90 days, we're gonna do a conference and it's gonna be huge. Went there, it's 4,000 people. It's huge.
Easy. That's the first.
Huge. That was the
The
first one.
first one. So we
That was the
talk
first
the
one.
numbers.
90 days later,
Yeah.
right? They said they're gonna do a conference. And I'm like, man, I was in the room.
Mhm.
And I started reaching out to celebrities and I said, hey, will you come? Will you come? Will you come? Will you come? No, 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 no. And since I was in that room, Hill Harper said, man, I'll come, pull up.
Support.
Yeah, support. I was one of his first on his Black Wall Street app because that day he launched his Black Wall Street app.
Okay.
And I said, I'll pull up. He said, I'll pull up. And he did, man. Him, Najee, it brought more notoriety to our conference because it was all kinds of things, man. And we still had a dope fashion show. We still had a dope hip hop tournament and G-Boys performed, Leal was there performed. It was still dope.
Mhm.
3-4 days, and we still did all the showcases. We said we were gonna do 7 showcases there, and we did that.
Mhm.
90 days after InvestFest, right? Fast forward to today, we did our Juneteenth event, Earn Your Leisure. So they're in, they just came back from London.
Yeah.
They're worldwide, man.
Different.
After I did that first conference, when people said it was gonna fail, people said it was too big, people said, oh, well, you're doing hybrid and some of it's online. Since it was in 200 countries, the president of the Congo, because I had a very notable Congolian businessman, and they saw over there and they said, look, we're doing an African-American Descendants Day.
Wow.
You look like you know what you're doing. And they flew me over there.
Mhm.
Now, before I'll tell you a story on that, when they called me, I hung up the phone. I thought it was one of them
Scam.
scams.
Yeah,
Hey, you want to come
scam?
No.
Yeah, instantly.
Oh, no.
Okay.
And then, so my homegirl Jenny, who set the same thing up, known each other for years since we were teenagers. We ended up going to Africa when a bunch of people told me, "Oh man, people get killed over there.
You have
You
those
ain't
people
gonna
don't
go.
don't have so much
You
to
never
say.
been.
Exactly.
You never been,
So how can you say something when you never been to a place?
right?
They try to stop your progress when you're trying to go.
Same thing about the conference,
Facts.
right? They ain't never throw you can't do it. There's no way to present or how. So I go over there. He tells me something. Go ahead.
Before you continue, I
Yeah.
want y'all to listen to this. Denzel Washington said this. He say, if you want to ruin your dream, tell your dreams to a small-minded person.
Yeah.
So you continue, because that goes back to what you were saying about the process, right?
Yeah.
So we have to understand, like, no matter where we go in life, we want to always have trials and tribulations, correct?
Mhm.
And that process of you understanding those things that you go through and knowing how to capitalize after each situation take place, that's when you start building the strength, right? And you build the strength to continue. Now you meet different people that you probably never thought you was gonna meet, right? And now you're talking about going to Africa. So talk to the people, man, and just explain to them like that experience and what that looked like for you.
So, and I haven't, a lot of those videos I didn't even post, man. And I'm gonna start, you're gonna see a lot of the content that we've shot in the places that we've been. And if I told people without them seeing the photos, they would have said, no way, man, you gassing me up.
Yeah.
When I went to Africa, before I landed, the gentleman that brought me over, Mr. Combo, owns a jet company. He said, and they flew me the first class and everything. I didn't have a passport. When they called me, I didn't have a passport. It had expired. I said, okay, when we leaving? He said, 48 hours. I said, what? Thank you, man. I'd love to go, but I don't have a passport. I ain't got a passport.
Yeah, okay.
Says, no worries. Hangs up the phone, calls me and says, go to this address. Go to this address. What's that?
It's not about what you know, it's who you know.
He sends me a piece of paper. with a stamp and it's in French. You know, I got family from New Orleans, but I don't read French, comprehend. So I look at it and I called Jen and I said, what does it say? She said, well, you just got a diplomatic visa.
Instant.
A diplomatic visa. And he said, sure. I go there, they give me a passport in 6 hours. What are we talking? A passport takes what, 6 weeks?
Yeah, it takes some time.
Yeah, it takes weeks. Pandemic at that time. Hey, this is, we backed up. It's gonna take 3 months.
Going through different protocols.
6 hours.
Wow.
I get a passport. So I'm like, man, I'm a ride this. People are still, hey man, don't go. People get killed. I'm gonna go. Get there. And they look at, there's all kinds of protocols and COVID and everything. And she tells me I can't get on the plane, right? Because I didn't have something and then she looks at the visa and then she's like, oh, there's this other line. There's all gang of people. There's this other line and you're in the wrong place. Go over there. It's like beautiful plane in
Instant exit.
bro.
Instant exit.
I could not, I took pictures because people wouldn't believe me.
Yeah.
Even on the visa. In addition to that, when I get there, I flew there. I went to Belgium and then from Belgium, first class food, the whole thing, whole 9 yards. I'm like, okay, well, said a few prayers. Let me make sure this is legit. And he said, look, when you get there, it's gonna seem chaotic, but don't worry. Right. So when I get there, just like he said, everybody's trying to hit you up. Oh, bags are too heavy. That's going to be $10. That's going to be this. Oh, you're back. You're American. Come to this room. So right before I even get there, I've been shaken down like 3-4 times.
Wow. Because you're American.
Yeah, because I'm American and that happens. But he said, don't panic. He told me the exact amount of money to get through that portion. Yeah. Say this, this, and this. Boom. They look at my bags, see that I'm American. They're like, okay, well, and I know the drill. And he said, wait here. This guy these guys in like suits come and they say, oh, he's with me. And they look and they're like, hey, free to go. They're about to. Nothing really was gonna happen. Same thing happens in Mexico. You ever been to Mexico? You ever been to South America? But they had a 3 or 4 cop caravan escort me through Kinshasa. So if you've ever been to Africa, if you get or have some type of anxiety, don't go. There's no lines. There's no lines in the road. There's but through this police escort, I'm telling you, 18 million people in the capital. But it was an incredible experience. Incredible. You get through that, that'll be the most hectic time is in the airport. Yeah. Once you get to that, everything smooths out. Absolutely beautiful. And he told me something else. He's like, look, you're gonna hear a lot, and people are gonna tell you a lot about the Congo. I'm gonna take you to this hotel, and I'm gonna tell you this before. Once you get to that hotel, you're gonna be the only Black person there. Because the Europeans, the Chinese people, they own everything around there. And what they do, they'll stay at this nice hotel I'm about to take you to, 5-star hotel, and they'll go to the worst part of the Congo and say, never come here. And they're buying up everything else.
So it seemed like every situation that you're talking about, number one, it was on faith. Number two, it was based upon you trusting him and following directions. Sometimes we had a previous conversation before we came in here and we set everything up. We talked about how our people, we have an issue with coming together, right? You came together with him and now he's putting you on this journey. You having the experience of a lifetime on this adventure, right? What were your thoughts going into this hotel prior?
Man, everything, I'm good now. Everything checked out with the visa. Yeah. I got a police escort. I'm getting out like it's a red carpet, and there is a red carpet going on. Literally red carpet. Wow. And people were like, who is this getting out? Over here. And I'm in like sweats at that point, right? I usually don't travel like that, but they said, don't go on there looking all flashy and everything else. So I get out, man. Meets me at the door. Oh, he's riding in the limo with me. And we're in the limo, by the way, right? In Africa, that people, they don't have limos, they don't have that. Forget all that. This is the craziest thing you've ever seen.
Wow.
We in Wakanda.
Yeah.
We pull up. Once we pull up, step into the lobby, marble floors, granite pillars.
Granted.
Pillars,
That's crazy.
20 feet high.
Royalty.
Dude. And I sat there for a moment, and I had been traveling for 14 hours. But I sat there in a moment just to take it in, and it was really busy. I think there was a big gala or something that night. So there was a bunch of people in suits looking to the nines, a bunch of government officials. And I looked around and just took it in just for a minute. Mr. Kama went to go get a drink. And I was the only Black person in the lobby. And we're in Africa.
Yeah.
Right? We're in the Congo.
That tell you something. The part of Africa that you was in, that tell you something.
Right?
Yeah.
I was blown away. I was like, exactly what he told me was the truth. Now we got to the back and there was some other people there, right, that were African and were Black, but
because in your mind, you probably thought that you was gonna see more people like us there, moving around, even the workers, you know what I mean? You will feel more comfortable.
no, a lot of the workers, they were Black, but
Okay.
you didn't see them right when you came in the lobby. And I don't know and as I saw more, but at that moment, I was just looking around, I'm like, how's this possible?
Yeah.
In Africa, right? And what he told me is, this is where billionaires are made, not millionaires, billionaires. So your diamond, coltan, right now, coltan is more, their wars start over coltan.
Valuable.
You know what that is? What's made in the lithium batteries and what powers the electric cars, it's coltan.
Yeah.
There are civil wars started over that, right?
Because
Just like gold and silver, right? Copper mines. Once you own a mine, you're printing money. The problem is there's a lot of different politics and things that go through that get it back, and I won't go we'll get back to that, but some of that red tape has been lifted for me.
Because of the connection that you made by you being able to have that connection.
So let me speed up, and I'll speed up this story
Yeah.
because we're taking a couple hundred people back to Africa after this conference.
Oh wow, okay. So let's say I wanted to be on that trip, right? What do I have to do to be able to go out to there?
You're there. We're taking our speakers.
But hey, we're going to Africa. So y'all stay tuned.
All right. So it was such an incredible experience. We went to all over the country. We got to see where it came through, got to see the jungle, got to see the diamond mine, or where they were. We did not get out at that point. We went to the other side of the country. We stayed in a resort that was incredible on the Congo, on the river. It's huge. Got to see a waterfall, all that stuff I did post. It's my background. You can see that. Right. And I almost, here's a crazy thing as well. When we were there, I'll never forget this moment because it almost killed me. We get out of the resort and we want to stretch your legs, right? So in the river, it's really calm, or it looks calm. And you go to a little river, you go to a stream, skip rocks and everything. I'm loving it, right? So this other girl, jumps, skips rocks. And so I do the same thing. It's a little river, right?
It's cool.
A little creek. Yeah. So I go and I'm gonna jump to one side to another.
The current.
Right as I jumped, and everybody's looking at me and it's almost like slow motion. Right as I jumped, I was gonna jump. People are yelling and I don't know why they're yelling,
Yeah.
but I jumped like this, right? Because I'm jumping from one
What's up,
rock to
brother?
another.
Yeah.
But I feel like hands on my feet pulling me, and I end up falling backwards.
Wow.
Okay. Now, what I don't know at this point,
Mhm.
they are like, people are frantic
Yeah.
at the bank. They're like, no, no, get off of that. And when they saw this, they're like, a guy 3 days earlier died falling into the river from that very spot.
So if you would have jumped in there,
If I would have
have
jumped
this
and
conversation
slipped,
right now.
what I didn't see,
Yeah.
that little calm river,
Yeah.
we went to the other side, it's 100-foot waterfall.
Mm. That's really deep. From the surface, it look calm.
Bro. And once you get to the other side, it is, they're like, once you get in there, it's over for you.
Mm.
There's no getting you out. There's no somebody throwing, you're done.
Instantly. That's crazy.
It was a life-changing experience, man. Because, and after that, he said, man, I didn't know, what did he say? He said, I didn't know who you are, but I do now. And whatever it is you're here for, I don't even know how you got here. The owner of the place said that. There's something you're supposed to do.
From that experience.
Yeah. Dude, I jumped from one, I'm telling you, when you jump forward, you play sports, you play sport, right? SEC. I jumped forward, but I fell backwards.
Mm.
I'm telling you, I felt like hands, because I would have slipped on that rock 100%.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Confirmation. That's God telling you that you have something already ordained. And to get back on the subject with the 40 Acre Conference, you know, we talking about what you've done, right? You explained the reason you put this together. We talked about the community.
Yeah.
You gave different examples on how people can contribute to this conference. Right now, the process, right? We touched on the process. You talked about what you've done, the people you came across in the process,
Yeah.
and how this came to be, different circumstances that you didn't even expect to happen, right?
More than
But it
I
happened. And, you know, I always talk about these things with people in my circle, right? Alignment, right? Alignment is important, right? We talk about higher conversations, 19 keys.
Mhm.
You always touch on this. Alignment is key,
Yeah.
right? Once you align, you have your mindset in a certain direction.
Yeah.
The people around you is going to be attracted to that, right? You're going to have the same conversation, right? You're going to have that same energy being portrayed, right? So you put yourself in that position, right? And now you in
thought I
Africa.
was crazy.
They thought you was crazy.
Thought I was nuts.
And you spend countless hours, days, right? I pulled up here today, you in the meeting, you taking notes on the board, we sitting there having conversations. The first thing you told me, you said, well, Richard, I'm a visual guy, right? We wrote it down, we finna make it happen, right? We got 2 months.
Yeah.
So Aaron Lee's talking about 90 days, we finna do something in 60 days, and it's crazy, right? And it's about to happen. So now talk to the people about, you know, not the speakers, because we're not going to talk about that, the speakers at the event, but talk to the people of what they can expect when they come to the knowledge that they're going to obtain, you know, the different wisdom that's going to be given from people who's going to be speaking at this event.
Yeah, so a lot of the speakers, so before putting on this conference over the last, so just so there's no ambiguity, I'm 36. Before being at this conference, I've probably been to 30 different conferences, multiple years. In addition to that, I've probably volunteered at 20 different conferences. When I was in college, I had the opportunity to meet Les Brown and Zig Ziglar because I volunteered for them.
Top 2 speakers.
Yeah, right, at the Get Motivated, and Rudy Giuliani. This was when we were 19 years old.
Okay.
Right, and before Zig passed away, and one of my other friends ended up doing some work further for him. Shout out to Matthew Newman, right? He has a big app right now that he's launched with Kareem Grimes and T.O., right? And they spoke at my conference too. So what they can expect is you can expect 40 events in 4 days, which sounds crazy. And you know why it sounds crazy? Because I'm African American. You heard of South by Southwest, right?
Most definitely.
How many events do you think they have?
They have one all the time.
How many showcases do you think they have in that period of time?
About 200.
326,
It's crazy numbers.
right?
Yeah.
But when I say I'm gonna do 40 events, people are like, oh man, gee, there's no way. It's already happened, man.
So why do people have such, why they have such,
And they didn't start
yeah,
with that many, right? They started, I don't know where they started with and how many showcases, but it wasn't that. It was one thing and it started as a film festival.
why so many pre-assumptions? Because we were black men.
Yeah.
Black individuals. Why?
I don't know, but I'm not even gonna take that class. Like Jim Rome says, I'm just gonna keep pushing and I write a lot of things down and people show up, right? Even with, when I started getting those visions and started writing things down, even 7 showcases, the first time, hey, we're gonna do a fashion show, we're gonna do esports showcase, we're gonna do a hip hop jam, we're gonna do the $1 million speakers, and 2 other ones. What did we do as well? Oh, we did a community drive, right? And we gave out a bunch of food and things, and then we had our vendor showcase, right? We did 7 showcases. People are like, oh, that's way too much. I don't know how you get it, right? 7.
Yeah.
And people are like, oh no, it's too large. You're gonna fail.
There's no way you can better do it.
No way. Then we did Juneteenth. I said we're gonna do 30. At the greatest venue, best venue in the city, at the Post, right? And I told people, and I shot a video of it actually on the same YouTube channel. You can watch that video of me walking through with it absolutely empty. This is before it was built.
Yeah.
Right? Not it was built, they were still building 713 Music Hall, they were still putting the lights in. And I shot a video because the mayor, who has been at all of our conferences and involved, his office said, look, I was gonna do the Hilton, where a lot of people have their venues, but since the Houston Marathon has 200,000 people coming in, and it's every MLK, like the air got sucked out of the building when I heard that. There's like, no, go to this new place called the Post. It's not built yet. I was looking for venues. And now it's a perfect spot because you can do so much with that spot. It's the 8th wonder of the world as far as venues. And we were the first conference to occupy, the Post and do all these things in Juneteenth, right? It was incredible. We did all 30 showcases. We had 8 different art showcases. We did a fashion show. We did a hip hop rooftop battle.
Wow.
It never happened in the city. We gave $10,000 worth of Jordan. Shout out to Jordan. We had 4 pallets of Pepsi that we went through.
Yeah.
And Rockstar. We had the craziest fashion show. We had art and sips. We had 3D art. Man, 30 events. You can look. And people said, oh, you'll never do that.
Yeah.
30?
Now they see it happening.
Oh man.
Yeah.
No, and I said 40, and people are like, oh, 40? No way. There's no way that can happen.
Yeah.
That's too much. Right? So you can expect the fashion show is absolutely incredible. The esports showcase is going to be absolutely incredible. The metaverse showcase and showing things, and people are like, we don't even understand the metaverse yet. Well, come through and understand it. Let's understand it together. I don't understand it all.
It's the future.
Right?
Yeah.
But there are people that are very well versed and eloquent that can show you the way before you just become a consumer.
Mm-hmm.
You can become a producer if you understand the game. Right? NFTs, we have digital art showcase, we have all these things that people can expose to, and we're sponsoring, the goal is to sponsor over 500 kids to come. And the incredible thing about kids, and I love it, my daughter, she's 7 years old. She was in her first fashion show at her daddy's fashion show.
Amazing.
Right? Yeah,
amazing.
She experienced the whole art showcase at her daddy's art showcase, right? She played esports, she competed, she breakdances. So she competed in the hip hop jam. It was absolutely incredible. And it was Father's Day weekend. So I couldn't have been more proud. But the thing about kids is what we lose as we get older is our ability to dream, our ability to want to execute without limitation. If you tell a kid, what do you want to be when you grow up? They'll have the most uncapped response.
Astronaut.
Right? I want to be this. Because nothing tells them they can't. And then something happens along the way in this journey we call life, where they get broken down and like, man, I can only be this. I'm only going to work here. Man, I may get promoted and make 20 cents more an hour. But if they have the possibility and they see people that look like them that are multimillionaires on stage that came from where they came from.
Exactly.
They see somebody that was formerly incarcerated, now a multimillionaire owning, right, 13, 15 clinics.
That's testimony.
That owns the apartment complex building and the retail center. These are all people that have spoke, right? That has played in the NFL, right? And they came from a place where their brother got shot, right, growing up. Yeah. These are all people that have spoke, that have
relatable stories,
rings that they want, right? But also have business acumen to know that there's other places that they can go even when they get out of sports. If they see all that stuff early, we'll bring back that uncapped potential and it'll come, for years to come. If corporations can come and get a part of and get their brand loyalty is big, associated with kids and adults that a conference that is empowering them, that changed their life, they'll resonate with that brand forever, man. Okay. So it's an opportunity for everybody.
For the kids, man, that's big. So for the people who want to tap in with the 40 Acre Conference, and they may have some sort of network or connection with a facility, with kids who are hungry to learn information that will be presented at the conference, how do they get in contact with you? Yeah,
so you can go to our Instagram for the page. Censorship, our old page of the 40 Acre Conference got taken down, but it's all good. You can follow me personally. My Instagram is @IamAMillionDollarDad. You can follow our pages on LinkedIn and Facebook. You'll see us. We're about to start doing heavy in the streets. You'll see a flyer somewhere. You'll see, just tap in 40acreconference.org. I mean, there's all types of places that you can find us. And we're going to have the dopest award ceremony this world has ever seen on MLK. I said that for Juneteenth. Go ahead.
So a lot of times, and this is what I see, again, I'm only 23, right? I've been to multiple events where I volunteered as well. You want to be able to build that experience and get to see how other people will throw their events, right? And a lot of times people don't understand how big award ceremonies are. After putting in years of work like you've done, right? Being an entrepreneur, being a father, right? Giving your daughter the platform and foundation for her. After you're gone, right? There is work that's been done in the process to make this happen. But when you're finally awarded for all your hard work that you've done, right? Talk to the people and tell them how important that is and what are we going to be doing at the 40 Acre Conference and how we plan on awarding the speakers.
So I'll tell you an incredible things just started aligning after I did a conference that people didn't even think could happen. So in the past 4 or 5 years, I had been nominated, right, for 30 under 30, 40 under 40, made the finals a couple times, or got nominated, but never got it. After I did the 40 Acre Conference, guess what award I got? 40 under 40.
That's crazy how that
works. You know what I'm saying?
Once you accomplish, that's crazy how that works.
That's crazy, man. And when you get awarded, and that's a prestigious award that I was honored by the Houston Business Journal, who will be involved in our conference in the awards. It was an incredible feeling, and I wanted to start every single conference with a bunch of people that have been putting in work for years. It's an iceberg, man. Like, there's so much that you see that's under the covers that people have been working on that they had no idea. You see an NFL athlete, you see an NBA athlete, and you see them on a stage and you're like, oh, they made it. With an entrepreneur, a lot of times they've been putting in a lot of work and they may not be at the level of success that they want, but it's just one more breakthrough. And sometimes it's just an award. People work for money, they die for recognition. And that award can take somebody to another level. So we threw the Juneteenth Hall of Fame Awards, right? And I had the honor, there was all kinds of celebrity there. The award that I was proud of the most is I gave my mom an award, right? And that did something for me, man.
She the real MVP.
Oh, dude. Through thick and thin, always have been my biggest fan. When I want to quit on the MLK and be like, man, this is too much. Man, keep going. So that was absolutely incredible. So her name is now associated with the Bun B's.
Yeah.
With the Oprah Winfrey's.
Yeah.
Right? With the Nipsey Hussles. Right? Her name will forever be etched in history on the Juneteenth Hall of Fame. So, man, it's incredible. So looking forward, we're kicking off. We're doing a golf tournament too this year.
Oh, definitely.
First time, and people say, oh man, there's no way you can do a golf tournament. Do you know how many golf tournaments are in Houston?
Yeah, throughout the year.
Throughout the year.
Yeah.
I just played in one for my daughter's school. Dude, but when I say I'm gonna do a golf, oh man, yeah, people won't come. If there's me and you out there playing golf, man, we gonna have a tournament, right?
Until it's done, then they'll believe it. Yeah,
man.
We're gonna put it together.
We're
gonna put it together.
But it's a journey, and just glad to have that God has given me the perseverance and just giving me opportunities and put the right people around us to be resilient first, no matter what. And a bunch of people are going to be put on, right? We're doing a coding competition. Those of you that know Code Launch, they put a lot of people on. We won the minority Code Launch. There's going to be hundreds of investors there that are waiting for that next idea from a minority company, or you don't have to be a Black or minority if you have something that can service that community. Right, which a lot of people do. So it doesn't exclude by any means anybody, but the goal is to uplift the Black community. So that's what we're doing, man. The atmosphere is electric. It is so exciting to see, and you're gonna see some celebrities that you never thought would be there, right? Once you start to see the flyers coming out, because we don't like to do small, we're going to release, because we're going to put everybody on a panel, make sure they match up right, and just hit them out. You'll be like, man, they're going to be there, they're going to be there. Man, 40 showcase, like, it's going to be incredible.
Well, definitely, man. And as he said, this is an opportunity for people who out there who may be in doubt of what type of business that you have, right? You may be in doubt of the services that they offer, right?
Yeah.
But now we're talking about, people in the building who will invest into your company, right? I don't know where you are or where you stand in any idea or anything that you envision in the future, right? But you have 2 months. You have 2 months to put it together. So put together anything that you have, be present in the building, and you will not be disappointed.
Yeah, and if you have something that you think has merit, apply for the coding competition, right? Apply for the pitch competition.
Yeah.
We have multiple opportunities for you to win. If you want to get product market fit, get in there and get a vendor table, get an exhibitor table, right? And go in there and do whatever you can to understand what messaging works Well, I remember a while back when we launched our first platform, I went to a conference with my mom and we were testing out our messaging, and then we got to a point where people were like, okay, I'll buy. How do I buy? And I was like, dang, I ain't gotta wait for you to pay.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So I had to pull up
Yeah.
a thing on the website and link it to a payment gateway. So Stripe, PayPal, come on down, man. We still need those American Express come through to connect with the people. But
Definitely.
there's certain things you don't know until you actually do it.
Yeah.
And I know that sounds elementary, but we had the website up, we had the price up, but then when it came to, hey, the payment gateway, so we actually put together, if you are a exhibitor, some of the checklists that you need before you can even come, so that you can win and have everything you need to make it happen here.
No, definitely, man. So as y'all know, the one and only Mr. Allen, man, he gave our information on how to get in contact with him. We're looking forward to y'all being there. And brother, I just want to say thank you for reaching out to me, allowing me to be on this call right here.
Yeah.
And being able to just be a part of this conference. I'm looking forward to doing it.
So let me, before we leave, I want you to know it's not about time, it's about vision and opportunity, right? Once you have the proper preparation and know what you want to do, people will show up. This background looks good, doesn't it? Did you know you were gonna do this today?
No clue.
So this is the committee meeting,
Thanks.
right? And I was on with some other people and people were coming in and out and say, hey, we can help with this, we can help with this. And Mr. Carroll asked me a question. I'm like, okay, let's find a way to do a podcast. And the podcast room was open. We moved some things around in
5 minutes.
5 minutes, man. That we got this I promise.
5 minutes.
It's like the Africa thing, you're going to find a moment and you're just gonna buy a ticket, buy a vendor table, buy it, and it's going to be the most incredible experience. And it's gonna be on a whim. And to other people, it's gonna seem fast, but it's gonna come together so quickly, just like this, man. It's beautiful. Is that a plant? A microphone? Like literally everything that we needed was sitting right there.
It was already here. But unless, like we talked about, unless you align yourself and put yourself right around the right people, you will never be in the right place.
Man, this has been incredible.
Yes, sir.
Absolutely, man.
Yes,
Y'all come to 40 Acre Conference, MLK 14th, the 17th, 13th through the 16th, 2023. And we're gonna do this every single week. So if you wanna be a part of the committee, we have 10 different committees. Come on down to the Ion. Next week, we're gonna have a DJ. We'll have a few sponsors, some light bites. And I want to see you in the seat. Tell us your testimony. You have a blessed day.
I'll be safe.